Huh.
Hello?
Hey, you probably know what this is about. I
Yeah,
saw
what's going
the
on?
so I saw stuff on Twitter, and apparently someone leaked some conversation. Um,
I mean, there wasn't really like a conversation to leak. There's a lot of people there that could have.
yeah,
I was more so informing the PD of what their restrictions are.
I got you. Um,
I mean, anyone could have heard it. There was people in the lobby, so.
what is it that I need to know when asked? Like what's actually going on?
So basically, I found out the officers were dropping time from like 900 months down to
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to do 200, but they decided on 500. And there'd been a lot of processing errors that I noticed in the past. Officers dropping charges because they wanted to be nice, they felt like it.
Mm,
And I understand that dropping charges has been a thing in the past, but there's no specific enumerations allowing them to do that. And the previous high command understood that the times and fines were kind of in control of the mayor. That's why you guys were given the sliders. That's why you guys were given control over the fines and whatnot. But
yeah.
it is clear to me that negotiations and whatnot are good things to allow public defenders to engage in, to allow officers to give time off if people spend a long time in custody. These are all things that are, I would say, positive. But there's nothing in writing saying that they have any of these privileges to do so.
We
So
don't.
basically,
Just real
my
quick.
conversation with them, yes.
I don't think our sliders work. They're like grayed out.
Well, your fine slider doesn't work anymore.
No, no. I when a couple days afterwards, when I was talking to Soze, he mentioned something about them being locked. I'm looking at it right now. It's grade. Come on, give me a sec. Maybe.
Interesting.
Um. Yeah, it says sentence length, and it's like grayed out.
Okay.
Yeah.
From my understanding, I think the sentence length, the one is controlled by the BCSO. There were some technical limitations with that, but you should have control over the fines, no?
When unless something changed, I was told it doesn't, but that might have been like a temporary thing. I'm
Are
trying
you
to see
sure?
if
Because
there's.
I know that the fine slider does change some of the charges. When I wrote a charge, it added a bunch extra to it. So
We could test it, but I think we should ask first. I was
means
explicitly told, so back when Andy and my when we shared the same sliders,
mhm.
I was explicitly told either they don't work or we don't touch them. So, but this is 2 months ago.
You should be able to touch them. There's nothing
Okay.
saying that you couldn't be able to. So
So I can reduce it down? It's going to be fine?
yeah, you can. And if anyone comes knocking, you can say that
Okay.
it's Angel's fault.
All right.
Um, but let me take a look here because from my understanding, right now, yeah, it is being modified up. I don't know what you currently have the time set to, but if you want to change it, we can take a look and see what it changes to.
Yeah, it looks like I found the fine one. It looks like it's right here. I can move it.
Yeah, you
But
should
the
have
other
full
one
control over
is,
that.
yeah. But so going back to the whole thing, like, so I'm only going off of like what Twata's saying. So is
Hmm.
what I'm hearing here is there's been a long-standing issue where officers have been taking upon themselves to change, their time, and it's getting out of control.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm putting some legislation in place that gives them. I'm going to be actually adding some abilities for the officers to reduce times and charges with attorneys in their presence, and
okay.
specifically enumerating these privileges into law.
Okay.
You know,
Um
the thing is, as the DOJ, we've always wanted officers to engage in negotiations with attorneys, to engage with public defenders, to do these things for guilty pleas. That's totally
mm,
fine. But when you have officers reducing charges from 900 months to 200 because they feel bad, that's a whole other issue. Um, the charges are the way that they are, and if they want to change them, they're more than welcome to engage in a conversation with us. Like we
yeah.
actually increased the time and fine on these charges at their request, and now they want to lower them, but they haven't spoken with us. So, if they want to have a conversation with us, and we're more than happy to change things for them, but they don't have the privilege to just change how they enforce the law, or I should say, to change how these laws are enforced at will.
Um I'm going to ask some like pointed questions just so like
Go for
I
it.
can um do offices off so what I'm understanding is officers do not have discretion for reducing fine and time. However,
Correct. Yes, currently.
they do have discretion to choose which charges to put on.
That's correct. Yes.
Um, do they have discretion if 10 cops are shot, they decide only to charge for 8?
Yes. Of course,
Okay.
that's what's
All
in their
right.
control. They're the ones that are pushing the charges. If they choose to do lesser for whatever reason, then they do have that
I
discretion.
got you. So, would it be accurate in saying that PD was operating under older guidelines that might have been looser, and now this stuff is being enforced, and there's a new vehicle by which they can get these changes?
It's more so to say that the new PD has been operating off of old guidelines from like years and years ago. But the
Yeah.
previous administration, the ones that you removed, understood that they don't have control over the time or the fines, as that was up to the mayors and the DOJ. But somehow that got lost in translation, and now the new way of processing has been completely discretionary like this. So I don't know when the standard changed or who changed it.
I think it's like, the 800 to 500 to 200, like, that's obviously a huge leap. I think it's sometimes people get time off of being in the cells too long, bringing a lawyer down, et
Of
cetera, et cetera.
course. And these are privileges that I want to specifically allow them to do. I'm currently writing up legislation. What I have right now is that officers can give time off for people that have
Yeah.
spent time in custody for longer than a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
They can take time and charges off for engaging in negotiations with public defenders. And they can also take time off for guilty pleas.
Officers who did this previously, were they doing something illegal?
I wouldn't say they were strictly doing anything illegal. They weren't. There's no law saying that they had to charge them appropriately. No.
So, like, let's say they did, in the instance you talked about, like, slashed it by 50%.
Mm.
Did they do something wrong then?
I
guess
yes,
what I'm trying to understand the contention,
So the contention is that this privilege is not enumerated for them. There's nothing in writing saying that they have the ability to go and change the times and fines that people receive. And here's why: the times and fines are set by the Department of Justice.
Mhm.
That is the punishment that is received if they break state law. They're taking it upon themselves to act as a judge and to change those times and fines, which are discretionary by the judiciary. Um, I mean, I guess you could say they've done something wrong, but the thing that they've done wrong would be bordering treason, and I'm not really interested in going and charging a bunch of officers with a crime for
Yeah.
doing what they believe to be good faith.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is just to correct this issue going forward.
I'm trying to find the right words for it as well, which is, so tell me if I'm wrong here, is that
Mhm.
officers that reduced the time previously, post new constitution, were acting in good faith, but
Yes.
inherently what they were doing was illegal.
Yes. I
Okay.
mean, I wouldn't even say. Well, I mean, I guess it would be illegal.
Well, it's either
if
got
you
to be
really think about
illegal
it.
or ethically wrong.
The reason I don't want to say like it's illegal is because the law that they're breaking is a hag charge, and I really am not interested in pursuing 50 hag charges against everyone in the PD. So
Well, no, and I'm with you, but that's your discretion, right?
yes,
The reason
that's correct.
I'm pointing at the legal, illegal is I'm trying to understand where you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, I understand.
yeah, okay. Okay.
So regardless, I'm putting together this legislation now, which
Yeah.
specifically enumerates their responsibilities and their ability to do these.
Yeah.
Honestly, not much is going to change. I'm going to give them ability to give up to 30% time off for guilty pleas. Actually, you could give me your thoughts on these guidelines. So currently, I have it set that if someone is in custody for longer than 20 minutes, law enforcement officers can take off 1 month for each minute spent in law enforcement custody. If they are engaging in good faith negotiations, they may take 1 month off for each minute the negotiations have been conducted while they're talking with attorneys and whatnot. And
Mhm.
they may also remove charges for guilty pleas. Officers just have to notate these charges that have been removed and the time off in the report. And that if someone chooses to plead guilty, the officers can take up to 30% of the time off. And if someone wants to give information to law enforcement officers in exchange for leniency, they can remove charges and time as well.
What about interrogation time?
That is that's kind of included in the police custody because any interrogation is inherently in police custody.
Yeah, but they're cops.
I mean, I think it's written pretty explicitly that if you're in an
Yeah,
interrogation, you would
yeah,
be giving the time out benefit as well.
yep, I agree. Okay. Yeah, I mean that sounds good. I can. Do you mind giving me a draft and then I can just send you something back when you send it?
Yeah, I could probably just share it with you.
All right.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I will put the report, the legislation that I'm writing. I will put it
Yep.
into the Los Santos County document section.
Then
So,
everyone's gonna see it.
that's fine. I mean, it's gonna be public anyway. So,
Okay, as long as you don't mind, like Tilly opens it up and she's a
okay,
yappa. So,
that's fine.
all right, easy.
But
All
this is
right.
all drafts. I mean, this is stuff that's gonna be written in public anyway soon. It's totally
Okay.
okay.
So I want to make this absolutely. I just want to, because look, after I talked to Soze, I've been touch this thing. You're telling
Mhm.
me if I bring this down to 50% fines, then that's completely fine.
It should be, yeah. It should be totally fine. And if anyone comes to get mad at you for it, tell them to send them my way. Okay.
Okay, easy. All right.
It should be totally fine though, because my understanding is that these are in your possession for a reason. So,
Okay. All right, easy. All right. Thank
okay.
you, Angel. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You
All right.
take care.
Mayor's office.